Hey guys, I'm learning TFT and I'm sharing my learnings with you so that you can learn and I can learn better as well. In this video, I'm continuing with the Learning Lab series, episode 3 of patch 15.1b. We've already done some lobby analysis of augment selection and line selection. In this episode, we're going to dive into Powerup training with Wasianiverson. I'm excited to really go through his thought process. I've taken a bunch of screenshots of Powerup selection screens using a vibe-coded scraping tool that I made. I have not viewed any of them yet. I'm going to attempt to make predictions on which power-ups he might select, align that with kind of strategically where he is in the game, what he's trying to accomplish. So part of this will also be thinking about line selection and how that might impact where he might want to go, what items he might want to slam, kind of strategically how the power-up fits into his gameplay. Right now, Wasian is 580 LP, rank 2 NA, and he's, I believe, recently just switched to full-time from being a student, full-time TFT that is. If you're not familiar with Wasian, he finished 3rd in Set 14 Worlds, the highest finisher for the Americas. And he's just like one of the most well-respected pros in the scene. So Wasian is a ridiculous 69% top 4 rate right now, and so I wanted to dive into his thought process. This is a tool that I made taking a bunch of screenshots, and we can kind of dive into this together. I'll be taking notes on the side here, as well as I have kind of a breakdown of my research on the meta comps, S, A, and B tier, and the power-ups using a bunch of the top sites from TFT Academy with Dish Soap, TFT Tips with Title, TFT Flow from GM Blue, and I kind of aggregated these power-up research, and we'll kind of cross-reference that with Wasian's kind of strategy. Although I think a big part of a gap that I have is actually early game power-up selection and how to use that to tempo. And so I suspect that for many of these cases, there may be situations where he's kind of fishing on stage 1 or 2 for a specific power-up. And if he finds the OP one, then he will commit to a line. Whereas if he doesn't, then he'll just toss that power-up, sell that unit, and then try a different route. So I think part of the prediction process I want to do is both what power-up he's making, and then whether or not he is going to sell the unit, which hopefully my scraper will catch it. It won't catch all of them because I set a polling time of 2 seconds. So if Wasian kind of made his decision too quickly, it might miss some information. But hopefully my scraping tool is working as planned. So with that said, let's dive into it. So here we don't have any item components yet. And the other thing is I also kind of need to predict who he places the power up on, since this screenshot doesn't give us that information. But my assumption here is that he put it on Kale and that he is fishing for the over 9,000 power up. I'm also going to be cross-referencing. This is on Meta TFT. They have a power up section where Spencer TFT. I wonder where Spencer is right now. Spencer is currently rank 55. Put together a tier list, and so I can look up Kale here. But specifically, I think he's fishing for, what is it called? Over 9,000, this one. At the start of each round, gain a random permanent stat bonus. So usually you want to pop your power up once you have more info, like on stage 2, you know what augment you have, what item components you have, but an indication to me of popping it in stage 1 is you're really fishing for that specific power up. So we'll see here, we have over 9,000 if you start accumulating in stage 1. And actually Golden Edge, you want to accumulate at stage 1 as well, because every attack grants, or it starts moving you towards getting more gold. So both Golden Edge and over 9,000 would be reasons to pop for Kale. And given this, it doesn't look like he will be sticking with Kale unless he gets a bunch of Kales in like a Rage Blade start. Out of these, I would probably pick gain 4.5% damage amp per level. I mean, we probably don't want to keep it. I would probably just pick Frost Touch, but I think we toss this. So let's see what he picked. Okay, he picked Max Arcana. So I think I said I would have. So number 1, Kale. 1/3 Kale. My guess. Frost Touch, and he picked Max Arcana. Max Arcana gains 1% AP every 2 takedowns. Oh, I wonder if this also applies to minion rounds. If you happen to know if Max Arcana applies to minion rounds, please chime in the comments. I'd appreciate that. So I think missing info I have here is it's for does do takedowns in minion rounds gain AP stacks? If it does, that makes a lot of sense why he would make that choice. Okay. Is this the same game? I actually don't know if this is the same game. Yeah, it looks like this is. Wait. Asta, Kai Wang, Cat, DXN. Okay, yeah, this is the same game. So he ended up tossing that Kale. So my prediction was that I did not specify that here, but my guess was also no keep. I was predicting that he would toss the Kale, which was correct. So he sold the Kale. He now has 9 lives. With a Syndra 2. So now it's 2-1. This should be on Syndra. As far as line selection goes, I think this is likely a tempo spot into Prodigy Yumi. Tempo into Prodigy Yumi. Which means that we probably want something that can help us win fights to win streak. Just generate gold, preserve HP. Like with 9 lives, I don't think we want to sacrifice our lives if possible. Well, it will be hard to win fights because we're basically down a prismatic until we start cashing out some of the stacks of 9 lives. Ideally, the best power up for Syndra would be Rising Chaos. And oh, by the way, part of why I want to do this analysis for power-ups is also for early games. There's less, like a lot of these pump sites have ideal power-ups for late game, like 4 costs or 3-star units, but they don't really specify for early game. So I think that's another benefit of doing this analysis. But Rising Chaos is very good for Syndra, and you don't even need to play it from a reroll spot. Unfortunately, he missed Rising Chaos. Shadow Clone we do have here, which basically gives her 25% damage amp and an extra body, which probably gives us the highest likelihood of increasing our board strength. So here I would do Shadow Clone greater than Star Sailor probably. Although our Star Guardian bonus is not that high in the beginning. It's 3 AP for what time frame? Let's see. 5 AP every 3 seconds. So that means 25% increase on that would be, I wonder if it rounds up or down. It would be like 6 or 7 AP every 3 seconds. Whereas hat trick just gives you 20 straight up. Which would take, like, let's say aggressively it's 2 AP every 3 seconds bonus. It would take 30 seconds to break even on hat trick. And that's excluding like the extra hats you get. So I would say it's hat trick greater than Star Sailor. Star Sailor seems like it'd be better once you get a lot more Star Guardians in. But I think I'd take Shadow Clone here. Let's see what. Oh, and we do keep this. I don't think we're gonna sell the Syndra. And he did take Shadow Clone, so got that one right. Next, we have 4-2 in the same game. So unfortunately, we did miss the stage 3 selection. Okay, so it looks like we have Keen Eye on Yumi. We did go Prodigy. So from a line selection standpoint, we got that right. And then we were on 4-2. This should be on Leona. Out of these, it's probably standalone. We have the Warmog to get extra value. Atomic, store 10% max health at Conmaster and 2% more every second. Atomic just deals more damage. With this comp, you just want more tankiness. You don't your backline's gonna have more than enough damage. And then this gives your backline attack speed, which attack speed for AP units is basically just another form of mana regen, but Prodigy already have enough mana regen, so I think this is just standalone. And then now the question is, with 2 removers, will we want to keep this? How good or bad is standalone? 35% max health. Let's see. Leona, standalone. Spencer has okay. Let's see. I think Zilla in round 2 probably the best. Selfish, resistant, standalone. The thing is, we probably want a better power up for Yumi. Keen Eye, we already have Shred. So Keen Eye is kind of redundant. I mean, I guess it stacks on top, but I think it's less valuable. So we probably want to save our power up removers for Yumi until we can find Bullet Hell or Super Genius, which means that I think we're okay with standalone. So we probably keep this until we find keep and prio Yumi, better Yumi power up before trying again on. Okay, let's see what he picks. Oh, he picked Living Wall. Okay, so Wasian, Living Wall. He did Living Wall for 1 fight, but then he he's redoing it for Yumi. Okay. Huh. Living Wall. I guess right now his Leona is only 1 star. So what is that HP diff? 1200 2160. So 1200 times, what was it? 35% health for standalone is an extra 420 health. Whereas 2160 times 0.35, 800. I mean, it's like almost 400 HP difference. Okay, so I think what my takeaway, okay, I should keep a takeaway section. Max Arcana. Consider taking in stage 1 if minion takedowns gain AP stacks. And then stand alone. Not as good for 1-star units since, I mean, the implication here is that, yeah, a 2-star unit has nearly double the HP, so you're losing like half of the value of standalone. Even though he does have a Warmog, so not as good for 1-star tanks since 2-star nearly doubles HP, so losing out on half the value of half the HP value. Okay. Combats are allies in the back row gain 1% for every. Okay. Which also tells me that if he's picking Living Wall, he probably wants to get a Stoneplate or Steadfast as his final item. Probably Stoneplate if he wants to keep Living Wall longer term. We do see that he is going to prioritize trying to find a better power up for Yumi. So depending on how quickly he can find the ideal power up for Yumi, so Bullet Hell or Super Genius, that could affect how he wants to think about itemization selection on stage 4 Carousel. He does get first pick, so it's likely that he will be able to get a vest. And I think even if he were to switch off Living Wall, he would probably want a vest anyway. He is missing anti-heal, but I mean, he has a component anvil. I think his itemization could be shifted depending on whether he keeps Living Wall or not. Right, so he played that fight with Living Wall. He also has this last second save, which also increases health. Interesting that he slammed Gargoyle. Or not Gargoyle. Dragonclaw. I guess most of the lobby he probably scouted. If this lobby's mostly AP, which I guess in this meta it mostly is, then Declaw is fine. Alright, so we are now using our fruit on Yumi. This is 4-3 Yumi. We pretty much just want Bullet Hell, which is Yumi's best by a lot, so I think this one's pretty obvious. Instant click, yes. And then he did redo because he found the Yumi ideal power up, he then removed the Leona power up and found resistant, which resistant is tier 2 for Leona, but better than Living Wall. Okay. All right, this is another game. On 3-6. Fortunately, we missed the first part. He had a Shadow Clone for Syndra again. So Syndra's Shadow Clone early seems to be quite strong. I'm actually curious last game how so he got to stage 4-2 losing 6 fights, which is like three fights, lost 3 fights per stage, which means he wasn't that strong, but I guess a big part of that is because he's down a prismatic. Okay, 3-6. This time he already has a Shadow Clone on Syndra. This power up is likely used on who? This is a frontline one. My guess is this went on to Oh, never mind. He's putting it onto a Shen on the bench, which means he's trying to tailor. I assume that's why this Shen is glowing. So I think this probably doesn't matter. But if he is trying to tailor, who's he trying to tailor for? I assume Jarvan. Is there a Jarvan power up that's extremely strong? I guess just going for round 2. Round 2 seems to be the most broken or like just highest value. You get training dummy with same items and 85% of the unit's health. Just extremely high value. Like when you compare this to standalone, like you're getting 85% of the unit's health versus this gets 35% of the original champion's health. I mean, you basically lose the ability to like have the dummy use their ability, but the like whatever tank items you have get extra value. So round 2 is just significantly better. Even Tankzilla is quite good. So we're trying to tailor by the Riot's current logic, which hopefully they patch in 15.2. If you see a power up here, then it can't appear again in the next one. So you're just trying to by removing these options, you increase the likelihood of getting the thing you want. And if you do get the thing you want, then you just sell it, do it again on a bench unit, and repeat. So I think this is my assumption is that this is on the Shen, and this is a toss away Taylor. Shen tailoring, so doesn't matter. But if I did pick one, I guess it would be Shen's ability also heals. Yeah, I'd assume it's just body change. I don't know. I don't think it even matters. See. Oh, unfortunately, we lost out on what it actually was. Yeah, but it didn't matter because he's not playing a Shen on his board. That was 3-6. Yeah, it eventually went on Jarvan. He picked Corrosive on Jarvan. What is Corrosive again? 30% shred and sunder enemies within 2 hexes take 10% less damage from shredded or sundered enemies, which for this purpose, it's useful because he doesn't have any. Oh no, he does have shred. He has spark. So he currently is prioing getting his ideal karma power up before like optimizing this Jarvan. So eventually put power up on Jarvan. All right, so now 4-2 on karma. Shadow clone seems like the best. Let me pull up my karma notes. Where's the karma? Shadow clone, efficient, Sky Piercer, Keen Eye. We don't need as much because we already have shred. Stormbender is quite good. Mage. What was Sky Piercer again? Oh no, Sky Piercer is the one we don't need as much. Keen Eye. Oh, Keen Eye and Sky Piercer kind of serve similar purposes. But Sky Piercer is actually redundant with existing shred, whereas I believe Keen Eye kind of is not redundant, but has diminishing returns. Okay, so this should be Shadow Clone Karma for basically the equivalent of 25% damage amp and having an extra body on the board. And yeah, that's pretty obvious. Okay, Shadow Clone. Next, we have on 5-5. This is likely on, I can't even see what's happening in this battle. Probably on some tank again. Probably Jarvan. We see round 2, so I think assuming this is a tank, we just put it round 2 as the default best power up for tanks. And yes, it is round 2. All right, next game. We have Wow, he gets Shadow Clone on... Is this a different game? I assume this is a different game. Yeah. Or maybe this is... Maybe this is the same game? Okay, I think this is actually the same game, but from a different spot because my scraper must have I must have restarted my scraper. Okay, so we did find out that he took corrosive from this spot. Um, this is 3/6 on Jarvan. So from this context, corrosive makes sense because he's lacking shred. He did take it over Tankzilla, which is interesting. Tankzilla seems like it would be quite good as well, which would be almost like a double Jarvan stun. But given that he's lacking shred and sunder, corrosive makes sense from this context. Okay, stage 7. I don't know why I jumped there. All right, next game. Stage 2-1. This is on Gnar. I saw Brosive testing Powerup on Gnar in stage 1. Just because Kahuna seems like really broken. I haven't really played around that line as much. Kahuna, Shadow Clone's good. And then Midas Touch in general for anyone, if you're strong in the early game, can just farm you some gold, as well as Heart of Gold. Both of those are good for if you think you can tempo kill some units or win with Heart of Gold generating extra gold. But he was really looking for Kahuna. He has expected unexpectedness as a prismatic augment, I believe, which means that he's going to be weaker early game than someone that went for like straight up upfront power. If he wants to stay with Gnar, he would consider max attack, but I don't think that's really a viable line right now. He does not have a Rage Blade, I don't think. What is Gnar's best items anyway? Yeah, you want like Kraken's Rage Blade. So he does not have great items. I'd probably just pick Midas Touch here if you can happen to kill a few units in this stage and get a little extra gold. Like you're not expecting to full streak anyway. So I would pick Midas Touch. And then Desperado probably, because Gnar's ability scales attack speed. Let me look at Gnar's ability. Gain 8% attack speed for each attack against the same target up to 80%. The Desperado seems to have some value. So I would do Midas Touch. Okay, good. This is the same game. Yeah, same game. He ended up going Gnar into Jhin reroll. 3/6. Is that a Mundo opener? No, okay. Okay, so I guess Gnar Sivir. I have not played around this opener at all. So if I have a sniper opener, I go into Jhin, which makes sense. And you're playing around heavyweight with Aatrox, which you then transition into Mundo. Okay, we have Unstoppable on Mundo. We're picking a Jhin. Oh, he might be tailoring here. I assume this is tailoring because he wants to get. I assume if he's playing Jhin reroll, he wants to get was that KO? Artistic KO. Every fourth attack deals 40% more damage. Overkill damage bounces to the nearest enemy. But it looks like it could just be on Jhin. Let's see. Some of these are max stage 3. So maybe just put it on Jhin and then remove the fruit in stage 4 to increase your odds of getting artistic KO. Yeah, so this, if assuming this is on Jhin, then I would pick, and we are going to remove this later. We are streaking right now, so we want to win. I think it's either Sky Piercer or Attack Expert. We don't have much AD. So I think this is just Sky Piercer. Greater than Attack Expert. And I don't think it's Midas Touch from this spot because we're going to get more gold from win streaking than we will from Midas Touch. On average. So Sky Piercer, final answer. Oh, he's scouting, so we did not get to see, unfortunately, what he picked. Yeah, that's one downside of my scraper. If someone scouts in the middle, it removes the choose a power up screen and it takes a screenshot. So sorry about that. All right, next game. Stage 1, Kale. This is the second time he's done Kale on 1-3. Probably fishing again for, what do we say? Over 9,000 Golden Edge. And then what was the other one that he picked? Max Arcana. Good if stage 1 minion takedowns gain AP stats. So again, if you happen to know if that's the case, this seems to be why he is doing the power up on Kale in stage 1. We have not seen him do that on any other unit so far. But Golden Edge seems to make sense here. With 2 component anvils, we have a decent shot at picking up a Rage Blade, which can generate a ton of gold, which is pretty essential for playing Kale reroll. Surge 66 is way too slow. I think it's just pretty bad in general, so critical threat greater than Surge. See what Spencer has for Kale. Surge 66 pretty bad. Golden Edge in the middle, but from this spot, I think Golden Edge makes the most sense. Yep, he picked Golden Edge, got that one right. All right, we are now at 3-5. Is this the same game? Brosive, Upset Max, Dr. O, yeah. Okay. We did not play Kale reroll. We are now at 3-5. We're playing Prodigy. We hit a Yumi. This is likely going on to Yumi. And we have Super Genius, which is one of Yumi's top 2 aside from Bullet Hell. So yeah, Super Genius. Is there ever a case where you just take Midas Touch here because you think you're so strong and you can generate a bunch of gold? He's not even slamming items. Oh, and he's playing Crystal Gambit. He trying to play Sork? He has 5 Swains. I think either way you still pick Super Genius, right? Yeah. Oh, Midas Touch. Okay, so I did not predict that one. He does. I didn't notice that he had a remover or a duplicator. It seems like this is like this Karma. This is, yeah, because he's holding Lelouch in the Rise. This is Karma with a Swain 3 win con. In which case, he's not even slamming items right now. So he's not trying to be strong. He knows he's not going to win fights. And therefore, Midas Touch lets him just like generate a little bit of gold. Like I guess I've been thinking Midas Touch I will only take when I'm strong in the early game. But Wasian took on 3-5 when he's not strong since he knows he's not winning fights anyways, to try to generate a little extra gold. Okay. By the way, I'm gonna include this notes, my power-ups training notes, as well as you can go to my my 15.1b meta notes here. I'll include these in the description below, so you can check those out on your own. Okay, next. All right, stage 6-6-3. We did pivot into Karma. We did get the Swain 3 online. Man, this guy's a beast. This will be going on. Swain 3 has resistant, by the way. Resistant. Oh, I don't even have. How does resistant work again? Reduce each instance of incoming damage by 30. Okay. I wonder if I assume he will try to redo the resistant. Otherwise, I need to update my notes on Swain. But probably wants to find a good Karma one first. He does have Spark, so Keen Eye isn't as great. Karma, classy champion's last listed trait is 40% more effective. What is Karma's last listed trait? Sork. So with 6 Sork, it's basically like a little under 40, an additional 40 AP. And then the HP max goes to like what? 8, like 16% max HP dealt to 2 enemies. Critical threat. We already have crit ability, can crit strike. I get normally Sork's frontline isn't that strong, and you just want to burst through everything. So critical threats like scaling crit chance isn't that effective for Sork. But we do have a Swain 3. Or we just do Keen Eye, stack it up, like get through super tanks even faster. I don't know. Keen Eye and Classy both seem pretty close to me. I would probably go Keen Eye over Classy over Critical Threat. But I would probably redo it. Yeah, I was gonna say remover. Because we had like 3 of them. Okay, so he removered it, and then he eventually got efficient, which is one of Karma's best is efficient. Shadow Clone and efficient, I would say, seem to be the S tier ones. I guess Stormbender could also be up there. Let's take a look at Karma. Yeah, Shadow Clone and efficient. Oops, lost track of where we are. Okay, next new game we have. Is this new game or is this same game? It's 5-5. Oh, okay. This might be a situation where we jump back. Oh no, this is a different game. This looks, wow, how did he get so many emblems? Okay, this is a flexible game. Supreme Cell, a lot going on here. I assume this is on Gwen. Dark Amulet. Supreme Cell. I have no idea what this. But like out of these, I think it's Dark Amulet. For Gwen. Fusion Dance can work too. I'm gonna guess Dark Amulet greater than Fusion Dance. Probably not Classy. Classy is like gonna be better on vertical traits that get way more value out of it. Alright. We jumped, he scouted, so I don't get that info. Okay, we already know he's picking. Yeah, unfortunately, I gotta clean up some of this screenshotting, but I think it still saves a ton of time relative to just like watching these his streams serially. So this is on Jace. It's a Jace 2 with a Sterak. Star Student. How does Jace's ability scale with potential? Shoot 7 sparks, so that's about half. 3 to 4 more sparks. And gives us the potential. We are playing vertical Battle Academia. Gives us the potential for the next fruit to also be Star Student. So, I mean, I know he's already select or like kind of dragging it. If it's not that, then it's probably unflinching. Okay, took Star Student. Next, we have stage 3-6. And this will likely, looks like it's on a tank. He's probably fishing for Star Student. And he's not. Doesn't look like this is a tailoring attempt because there's nothing on his bench. Unless it's on the Kobuko, but the Kobuko fits really well with Jace. It looks like he's trying to do Jace reroll. Who is this? Who is he putting this on? This is like on the rel, just so he can remove it later. He probably doesn't want to waste it on the Garen. Okay, so my guess is this is on rel, and like this is gonna be an itemless rel. Probably take Living Wall. Give your backline a little more attack speed, and Living Wall benefits from Bastions as well. Greater than Spiky Shell to deal a little more damage, greater than Resistant. Resistant seems... yeah. Living Wall. Quick Spiky Shell. A little more damage. Okay. I feel like this decision is not that important. We go through all of them? Okay. Looks like we went through all of them. So takeaways. Oh, another takeaway is that out of all of the stage 1, stage 1 was always Kale. only unit he put power ups scale. Fish for scaling or econ power ups. But specifically scaling, I think, is the one you want, because with the econ ones you could, well, I guess with what was it? With and Max Arcana and over 9,000, presumably over 9,000 I know will scale in stage 1. Max Arcana, if it does scale, then it's good. And Golden Edge, you can start getting stacks in stage 1. So all of those benefit from stage 1. And then Shadow Clone Syndra seem to be working out really well for Wasian early. Strong early game. Yeah, I think those are my main takeaways. Otherwise, I think for the most part my predictions were not too far off. Yeah, cool. So I would love to hear your thoughts if you have any feedback, questions, something that you maybe would have done differently, explain something that maybe I interpreted incorrectly. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot in the process as well, and I'll see you in the next one.